What's up, King?
What up? What up? What up? What's happening, big dog? I want to apologize, everybody. I'm in a car. I was yelling at Lee Priest last week. Armon's got a point. He's like, I'm gonna give you shit this week. I'm sorry, guys, but I had to go to New York. I'm going back and forth from Annapolis to New York. My son's finishing up his football camp at Bergen Catholic. He's crushing it. So I got to be there for tomorrow early to talk to the coaches, find out what we're going to do. He might be getting a scholarship to private school. I don't know. All good things happening. So
How old is he, King?
From the car. He's 14.
What sports did you get him in when you my daughter, she's 10 and my son's 6. What sports did you get your kiddos in when they were young?
Absolutely nothing. I didn't want to push him. Everybody kept saying, "Hey, you're gonna push him to be a bodybuilder, weights." I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna be that douchebag dad that does that.
Right.
You know, so he gradually, he was into, just like all the other kids, video games, and then he got into bikes, BMX stuff, and then he got into all these like different things. Then as soon as he got into junior high, 7th and 8th grade, all his boys, they all were playing football. So he just got into it and he blossomed, man. And listen, I was there on day one, Monday, on first day of camp. And there's a bunch. Bergen Catholic is no joke, man. They're fucking number one. There's Don Bosco, there's Bergen Catholic, and there's St. Joseph's. And those are the top 3 prep schools for football. And the Coach Vito, he was like, when I first met him, I said, "Hello, I'm King." He goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And he looked at Johnny. He goes, "All right, let's see if he said, he looks like he's got the goods, but let's see." We got out there, man. First thing they did is run through the drills, how high they can jump, what their long jump is, and then the speed thing. And the speed thing came up. He did 4.8 on the 40. And, at his size, he's 180 pounds at almost 6'1". They were salivating, Armon. They were salivating.
Genetic.
He looked at me I was sitting in the stands, and he looked up at me. He put up a 4.8 and he pumped his fist, and then I was like, okay, we're in there now. And then he was good. He's doing real good.
It's genetics are crazy, man. It's just your ex, she was athletic, I was assuming, right?
It's Irish Ukrainian. Yes, she was. She had a nice body and all that stuff, but the height, Johnny's height. My son's name is Johnny. Johnny's height, she's getting from her father's side, my ex-wife's father's side. They're a bunch of tall Irish motherfuckers.
Okay.
But the best part about Johnny is, there's a lot of kids, and I'll tell you what, man, I'm not fucking around. It all comes down to, if we put all the stereotypes and all that shit away, there's some fucking brothers there. There's some little African-American kids. They're fucking talented, man. They are talented. You could just tell there's from the speed and the stance and how they're making those catches. And Johnny, they got separated like 2 hours into the first day of camp. Eight guys got separated, and Johnny was off with the 8. And then I ran down and I was like, "What's going on?" He goes, we had the best and the fastest, and this is like the top 8. And they just started to run those 8 through drills, and he was right in there with them, So I'm real excited, man. He's kicking ass.
Is your son the aggressive type, or more kind of like the more like playbook type, like good at plays, or a little bit of both?
He's confident. He's not mad. He's not a mean guy. He's the sweetest guy in the world. He absolutely adores his sister, my daughter. She's firstborn. He worships her. He loves her so much. He's sweet, but he does not like to lose. I remember just hanging with him when we used to hang out and play games and UFC games, and he hated losing. So I used to lose on purpose because he would get so mad, but he just had that competitiveness in him. But Yeah, but he's, the strength and the speed. I mean, he knows, like, he understands. He definitely gets it.
I do that with my son too. It's funny. I put my son's 6. He's bigger than all the other kids. And he he punches hard. We were going to one of my buddies and like both doing boxing, like we both do rounds and all that. But like my back was, it was just too much for me, man. Like boxing for an hour, and so my
Right.
kid enjoyed it. My son enjoyed it a lot, and so he wants to get back into it because we put him in soccer. But man, that kid, he can punch so hard, and like you said about losing, he hates to lose. He
Yeah,
hates to
yeah, yeah,
lose.
yeah,
Gets
yeah,
so mad. But yeah, it's
yeah,
awesome
yeah.
being a dad and having kids, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. Like we spoke about before, a lot of these older bodybuilders, these bodybuilders, they so selfish for years and never have kids, and then they have nothing. But then it's not for everybody. I'm not saying everybody
Yeah,
should have a kid, but it that's that's kept me living, and that's like my most important thing in my life. And I'm sure you would probably say the same thing.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a different kind of love. I always
yeah.
explain to people, you go and you have there's whole different types of love you experience in your life. The
Hmm.
kid, the kid love is the I will jump in front of a bullet love.
Oh yeah.
I will commit murder if somebody touches, my daughter love, so it's a different kind of thing. But yeah, I'm loving the whole process of being a dad and how he's just growing and and he understands. He's already light years ahead of those kids when it comes to nutrition because I taught him how to eat correctly. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
he's got all those things going for him, and we'll see. I'm really excited. I want him to go to private school. I can afford it. Whether they give him the
yeah,
scholarship or not, he's already got a 4.0 GPA, so the academics are there. But it's 17,000 and some change. I got that. That's not a
yeah.
problem.
So, King, I know how the schools are here. So, my daughter, she's in a Christian private school in Frisco, and then my son, he was in a Montessori school, and then we have him going into Christian Academy private school. The public schools around here, where I'm at in Dallas, they're just not good. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it's like setting them up for failure. And where I'm at, other areas a little bit north of Dallas, or other places have the school districts are a little better. Where you're at, how is it over there?
it's good.
How does it? It's good.
Yeah, public schools are good. It's some of the best in the
Okay.
country. New York is,
Okay.
he's got that. You know what I'm saying? So that is always there because my daughter went to public school and she had a 4.2 and she graduated and got presidential scholarships left and right. So she's good. But I want to talk to the coaches because if he's got that it factor, like last year
Uh,
he was playing the offense and defense and kicking the ball and running back and tight end and he was a linebacker too. I want the whole purpose of me tomorrow is to go to Coach Vito and say, what position? You guys had 1 week to evaluate him. We got to narrow it down. He can't be playing Ironman football all his life.
yeah. Yeah.
Tell me what. I have a
Good.
I have a feeling it's going to come down to either linebacker or
Mhm.
tight end.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. That hopefully he'll, put him in the exact right place he needs to be. But I'm really excited, man.
Does he ask questions about like SARMs and gear and all that? Because at that age, I remember when I was in high school, all the football players, not all of them, but a lot of them at like 15, 16, they were all juiced up to the max. And when I was going to school, I know it's a little different now. Some schools they test, and then now people are more aware of, what they can do to you, the negative side effects of starting them too young. Does he ever
Yeah.
ask about that, or is he like,
No.
"Hey, my buddy's on this or that," or do you kind of say, "Hey, man, if anybody asks about this stuff, you tell what do you?"
Yeah, no, he hasn't asked me about it, but he understands bodybuilding. I've
Yeah,
explained him. I've explained to him that what's the difference between, weightlifting for a specific sport and
right.
bodybuilding. So he doesn't do the body, but like you don't see him doing dumbbell flies or bodybuilding movements. He won't do that. He does deadlifts. Everything is explosive. He does the squat. He does the bench, but he's careful. I told him about the rotators and stuff like that. So he's building up his strength right now. The crazy thing is he's got width, you know. So I gave him the width, the Kamali width. So I can always see it when he's standing out there, especially when they were doing the sprints and stuff. He's got shoulders, which I fucking love. You
Yeah,
know, yeah, but
we both got those Persian shoulders. It's like I think we have wider clavicles or something. I
yeah.
don't know what it is, but man, this guy's comment hits hard. He's like, much love and respect. I lost my daughter June 19th.
Oh
You
man.
guys are like therapy for me. God bless you for Michigan. I can't imagine that,
No, I
Cody.
can't. I wouldn't be
I'm
able
so
to. I wouldn't be
sorry.
able to take it. I wouldn't be able to take it. God, you know,
Yeah.
that's like the most horrible thing I can think of on this planet Earth. That's why when this whole Texas thing happened, I was thinking about you too. I was like, man, that you little girls at a camp,
Yeah.
and I couldn't like I'm getting goosebumps right now. I couldn't. There's no way I would survive. There's no way I would survive.
It's heartbreaking seeing all that, man. It's so sad. It's wiped out the whole camp, and you know,
Yeah.
it's about three and a half hours away from me. All that, but you know, yeah. But that's
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, brother. Like that's I don't even know what to say to deal with that.
Yeah.
That's really rough, but you know.
Yeah.
Who wins, 100% Beirut or versus 2024 Mr. Olympia Samson versus 2024 Arnold Classic Hottie versus 25 Arnold Classic? Jeez, Derek
Yeah,
and Rob.
this guy's getting specific, real specific. My answer to that is you have to see them standing next to each other.
Yeah,
You can't.
when you guys see these comparisons on Instagram, when they put up, you know, let's say they put Nick Walker from one show and Derek from another show, or Lee Priest versus Keon, that stuff doesn't match up. You can't. That doesn't work that way. You can't just put plaster some pictures up there, and it doesn't work that way. You have to see in living color up front, like as a judge, looking straight up at the people. People don't understand how bodybuilding works. I mean, you could see. We've all been backstage, and you see that guy, you're like, man, that guy, he looks amazing, or you know, and then he gets on stage, looks like shit. Or you see that guy is like, he's like when I saw Sean Roden backstage at the North Americans, I was like, oh, okay, like the guy's soft, he has like he looked like he had fat on his lower back and all this. He got on stage, you didn't see any of that stuff. You know, he posed, he had that shape. So translating to what people look like in person and then on the stage is very different, and a lot of people just they don't understand that. So
to as a general way to answer the question that he asked, I would say Samson's still sitting on top of that mountain because he's got everything.
Yeah.
He's got everything. He's got the small waist. He's got the round muscles. He's the biggest one. He's got the thickness. So I would say Samson, but Hottie's conditioning at that show, again, you know, it depends on which direction you want to go and how you do it. But I still will have to see them all standing next to each other. You know, I would still say Samson.
Do we know who's coaching Hottie King?
Hottie's not coming, man.
Not coming. Yeah.
No, he's not going to come to the Olympia. No, there's a huge backlash happening right now. Actually, I was on the phone with somebody last night who runs who talks to all those Iranians, and he's in the whole mix and all that stuff. And he called me last night and said, King, there's a lot of shit that's happening with Hottie right now. He's actually, you know, making posts that are pro the regime in Iran, and you know, a lot of people are like, fuck you. You know, this, and he's like, no, this is my Iran. I'm an Iranian. I have to be pro-regime. So he's basically shooting himself in the foot, which is something that I expected anyway, because everybody knows I don't like him as a person. I think he's a douchebag, but it is what it is. Now, I have a distinctive feeling that he's not going to make it to the Olympia this year. I just don't think he's going to make it.
I mean, talking like that, I mean, what? But in the position he's at that, you know, the level and respect and all that, what should he say, King? Can he say otherwise, or would he be killed? Or
I would say you would be pro-Iran and say, hey, listen, you know, we don't want, be a human. Say nobody wants war. Nobody wants, you know, we don't want to let the Israelis deal with themselves and have their lives. Let us do our thing here, have our lives. We don't want anyone. Be neutral. Be a human
Yeah.
being. Be empathetic. For people dying and stuff. Don't sit here and listen. For people who don't understand, Hadi is a goat herder, and I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying that because it's the facts. He was a literal. His family tree. They're all goat herders. He has no education. He's never been to college. He's never been. That's not him. He is a simple human being with great genetics. Okay, and he's got the brain, the mentality to go to train hard and suffer and all that stuff. Okay, great. He's a great bodybuilder, but you can't listen to these guys and follow their words like they're preaching gospel. That's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? So let him do his thing. Let him keep shooting himself in the foot. Behruz is the perfect representative. He's such a nice guy. He's so humble, and he also understands. I said it to Behruz. I personally told him. I said, dude, you got to fill out your legs. You know what I'm saying? Work on your posing, fill out your legs, and your conditioning needs to be 2 to 3% sharper if you want to be in that top 5 at the Olympia. They will call him out. Absolutely, they will call him out if he's in shape and he looks like the way he did in Dubai. But if he wants to make an impression like Hadi did, he needs to step up his conditioning.
Yeah, I mean, I love his physique too, and his legs aren't bad, but what they go by judging, they want those blown out legs.
Yeah.
And he has beautiful legs, beautiful structure. I mean, his physique's probably my favorite physique on the pro circuit right now. And he seems like a really nice guy. He's learning English, unlike Hadi, where I know he had the learning disability, the hearing, whatever issue, but at least Behruz is learning English and he's talking some English, because that's important when you come over here. You have fans all over the country. You know how many Hadi fans are over here in the States? At least learn a couple sentences to talk to your fans, at least.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. But I don't think he's gonna make it. But I mean, listen, that's it's not just for Hadi and the Iranians and stuff like that. And let's bring up a great example of something recent. What the fuck is Nathan thinking? I mean, what is this guy thinking?
I don't know, bro.
He's sabotaging his own career. And before, hey, if he watches this, which there's a good possibility that he will. I'm a fan, you dickhead. So don't get mad at me. I'm not trying to put you down. I'm just letting you know I had you first or second going into the Dubai show. So don't sit there and say, "Oh, King is a hater. He's a cat." I'm not a hater. But I'm telling you right now, Nathan, you are sabotaging yourself, bro, with what you're saying.
I actually reached out to him on IG. I don't think he got the message, but I said, "Hey, you want to come on?" And like I said, I love your physique, bro, but I would like to know what's going through your head when all the stuff you're saying. Like, Beirut should have won this or this. I mean, come on, dude. Like everybody's literally saying, yes, Beirut should have won. This William looked great. This, and you think you should have beat all these guys. That's like, I understand after shows, emotions are high. You got all your hormones, you're dieting, but that's delusional the way he's thinking. And I've seen him on some other podcast, and they're giving the platform. And I forgot the guy's name, but it was agreeing with him. The guy agrees with everybody. This guy's podcast. I'm not going to say the name, but he agrees with everybody. Guest he has on. It's like, yeah. Just because he wants to have guests on, but they're not telling him like, dude, no, you should not have won that show. But a couple other shows, like what other shows were after that his placings? So they had what was the first one, King? The
Dubai. Dubai was the first one.
Okay.
And then he went to Italy with the second one.
Right.
And then the third one was the one that what was the third one that he just did? Fuck. Flex show or something like that?
Flex Pro, yeah. Flex
Pro, yeah, something like that.
Rubio won.
Yeah, but and you got beat twice by Rubio, who did the Dubai show, who looked the same, and he got fifth against top tier guys. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, look, dude. I mean, come on. There's a point where you have to just say to yourself, okay, I'm just sabotaging myself now.
And Nathan's not new. He's been in the game for a long time. He's up there. probably what, 37, 38, I believe.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, he's not some kid, so I don't know what he's thinking, because when you compete, like when you were competing, you weren't going to go beat Ronnie Coleman, right? I mean, you have
100% yes.
you know how good you are when you on stage. You know, you have certain people you know you can beat, you can't beat, and then it seems like Nathan just thinks like he should just be first place, and I don't know where it's coming from, or
It might
uh,
be coming from. I mean, listen, Armon. It might be coming from his boys. You're in a gym where you're the number one guy in there. Everybody kisses your ass. You know that's a lot of Hadi. Everywhere he goes in Iran, everybody
mhm,
just keeps saying to him that he's the greatest thing that's in sliced bread and blah 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 blah. Now, I personally hated that. That is why I took the exact opposite route. I used to go to people who were mean,
mhm,
who would yell at me, who would tell me, "No, man, you're not ready." You know, Chad. As much as people want to say that, Chad, he hurt a lot of people with his protocols and this and that. Chad never sit there and said to me, "Hey, King, you're a great bodybuilder. You're amazing." No, even when I won the nationals, he was very like, "Good job." That's it. He said,
yeah,
"Good job. You did good. It was a good job. You're not ready yet. You're not ready for the pros." Because I was instantly like, "So what's my pro debut?" He
mhm,
goes, "No." He goes, "What you need is to get a contract with Weider," which he helped me, and I did. I got
mhm,
my contract with Weider. He goes, "Now you have it's a multi-year contract, so now you have security. Now that you have that security financially, now we got to put on about 20 pounds of fucking muscle."
right.
He goes,
It,
"Then
it
you'll be ready."
it's funny because people don't understand these competitors that people look up to them because they're certain bodybuilders. They don't see the behind the scenes stuff. Um, a lot of these guys, they're gone in the head. They're not okay. Like a dude I've been dealing with recently. This dude, I mean, I'm not getting into it on here, but I helped this guy. Uh, I'm gonna say his name and this and that. These people are delusional. They don't know how to work hard. They think that things should just be given to them.
Right.
They don't understand. It's just well, that's another story, another day. But a lot of these competitors, they don't know what they're doing. They're just listening to whatever they're being told, and then other people get in their ear and tell them something. Another person tell them something. Another person tell them something, and they're so confused. They don't even know what to do. They have great genetics. They know how to eat. They train, and then they're being told all this different stuff by a bunch of different people. Like we've said before, in coaching, pick a coach. Listen to that one person
Right.
and don't let all these little birdies in your ears, whatever. I cannot stand that shit. And
Yeah.
when that
No, I agree. I
happens,
agree.
that those type of people will never make it in the industry. If you don't have it up here mentally, you will never make it in bodybuilding. No matter how good your physique is, you will never make it.
Right. Yeah, and you brought up a good point. You got to know your limits and know your standards and stuff like that. I when I came out in 2001, I just wanted to make my mark, and to come out at the Ironman and beat a lot of legends and people whose pictures I had on I mean, I beat Lee Priest, I beat a lot of guys and I'm thinking to myself, holy shit. So it's like, okay, now I know where I stand, where my mark is. What do I need to do to be even better? And thank God that I had a Chad Nichols who was not a guy who kisses anybody's ass, but who was like, yeah, he was very stoic. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you look good. You got to do this. You got to do that. But, I've told the story many, many times. He'd come to my room. He would look at me at the Arnold Classic, and he goes, "Great." And he would leave, and I would like, "Fuck." I wish he said, "Do I look good enough? Did I make him happy?" And then Kim would come back, his wife, Miss
I remember
Olympia,
telling me,
sneak in the room and say, "You look great. You look great." And then she'd leave. I was like, and then I would smile, like, "Okay, great. All right. So I'm good with this." But
King,
you,
people don't want to suffer. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear, they want to hear, a lot of these people, they want to hear like, "Oh, you're great. You're awesome. Good job." No, no. Some people do well with that, but that doesn't create champions. Creating a champion, creating someone that's a great bodybuilder, they need that person that's in their corner not some special name or run to this guru that's in your corner that cares about you and pushes you. And
Yeah.
then once they start thinking of all this other stuff and getting in their head and they don't understand, well, I can make all these shortcuts and do that. No, it doesn't work that way. There's hard. Nothing beats hard work.
Right.
Not some little drug that's supposed to do this or do that. I mean, dude, it's amazing what I've dealt with the past couple weeks with a couple of my clients, and it's so frustrating because the genetics they have, they're just self sabotaging themselves, and they're not going to have a career at all because they don't have what it takes mentally whatsoever. And
Armon,
you have to be mentally strong.
I have a client. His name is Jimmy DiLorenzo. He's done 3 shows with me. 3 in less than 2 years. When I met him less than 2 years ago, he was Mike the Situation. Just a Jersey Shore, Italian, douchey, fist pumping. That's who he was. And then I took that and I noticed right off the bat that this kid, when I said 1 hour of step mill, he did 1 hour of step mill. When I told him to eat 50 grams of something, he measured it out to 50 grams exactly. I'm like, okay, this one's going to be fun. And guess what? This past weekend, he got his pro card at the Team Universe. Now he's an IFBB pro.
How old is he? I saw that.
He's a 41, I believe, 41, 42 years old. And every competitor, every pro, Victor, even Weinberger came up to him and said, conditioning, off the charts, conditioning. And then Steve's like, you got to love that guy, King, man. He brings this guy. He knows what he's doing when it comes to bringing. And guess what? He's on TRT because that's what he does. He's a 40-year-old. He went to a hormone replacement therapy clinic, and that's what they gave him. He takes 1 shot a week, and he was taking 1 milligram of Arimidex every other day. That's it. That's all he did, and he got his fucking pro card. So it goes to show you exactly what you said. Hard work, man. This kid killed himself. He's a machine. Jimmy's a machine. He's an absolute machine. And right now he's up 16 pounds and looks even better than he did on the show because he's rebounding and listening to the protocol for the right PCT protocol. He's following it to a T. And I'll post pictures a little bit later today on my Instagram to show you guys what he looks like, not under the stage lights, not in the gym lights, but outside in the sun and the beach, because that's where he is right now with his family vacationing. He looks phenomenal. He looks phenomenal. So
the people say, "Oh, the question, everything." Well, I heard this does this. I heard this. Like, shut up. Those type of people, they never succeed. Yep. They're always, well, I heard this on the internet. This, well, dude, why did you hire me?
Yeah,
it makes zero sense.
I got a boy in Oklahoma who's got a bunch of clients, and he helps his clients, and they win their class or they win the overall, and then they leave him.
Yep.
And then I'm like, and he calls me up and he's dying laughing. He's like, and they went and they got 8th place at the next show, but they're too fucking prideful to apologize and say, come back. And then and Scott just laughs. He goes, King, does this happen to you? I'm like, all the time.
Yeah, I know,
because
Scott.
Everybody thinks that somebody else. What is that guy's name that all the people are running to right now? The coach,
Boss Outlaw.
Yeah, Boss Outlaw. Yeah, there's something he knows that I don't know. Yeah, no, there's nothing that he knows that I don't know.
People get people's ears, and it's stupid, dude. I mean, the things I've heard, it's just. I have to do cardio. Man, yeah, I'm like, can I have this? Can I have some Greek yogurt instead of my last chicken meal? Yeah, stupid.
Armon, I got a client that's competing this Saturday at an NPC show. When I post his before and after pictures, you will shit and laugh in your pants. First, you'll shit in your pants, and then you'll laugh. What transformation this kid has made. I posted his pictures this morning. Jimmy, of all people, Jimmy, who just got his pro card, contacted me and said, "You're a fucking magician, bro. What you did with Gabriel," I'm like, "Yeah, it was fucking." I'm even surprised. It's a fucking miracle. But what it is it's just finding the right person who's willing to listen. Just listen. You know, if I tell you to eat steak, eat it. If I
And
tell you to eat
that's not broke. That's not broke
do
either,
it and
King.
let
That could
me.
actually
It's because it's gonna fall on my shoulders. If it fucks up, it's my fault. I'll take all the
Yeah,
fucking blame.
right. Money too. You know, people
All
understand
right.
competing costs money. You have to have money to compete. You can't just, you know,
Correct.
do it on. Is it possible for you guys to find a meaning in life if you remove the father title away? I'm not sure what that means.
Read that one more time. Read it one more time.
Uh, is it possible for you guys to find a meaning in life if you remove the father title away? I guess saying if we're not a father, if we can find a meaning in life, because we're talking about maybe our kids earlier.
Okay. I mean that's a weird question, but a
Yeah,
lot of people decide that they don't want to have kids.
right.
It's the latest. It's the latest trend now. You know,
Mhm.
women are coming out and saying, you know, I want a career. I don't want a
Yeah,
kid. But in general, this human species was made to reproduce. That's the whole point. You know,
absolutely.
so if you ask me or ask Armon, you know, sitting on the stands watching my son at an elite football camp crushing it, you can't. There's no price tag on that.
Mm,
There is no price tag on seeing your offspring and being Kamali out there, taller, probably going to be stronger than me,
yeah,
probably more athletic than I am, just absolutely killing it. And there I am. That's what I'm talking about. That's what life is all about. So I don't know
yeah.
how to answer that question. All I know from my own point of view is it's just a different type of love.
I mean, hey, I was like that. I was like, I never want to get married. I never want to have kids. And then I had a kid. I wasn't with the girl I wanted to at all. It was with one of five girls I was seeing at the time. But I manned up. I was a father to my daughter, and I'm still in her life. And then I had my son with my wife. And the people that ask that question or don't have kids or say, well, you know, you guys are saying everybody should have a kid or you don't have no, that's not what we're saying. It's not for everyone.
Nope,
You
not
know,
saying that.
don't have a kid if you're going to be a shitty father, because there's a lot of shitty fathers out there, beyond shitty. I mean, you know, you see it all the time, long crime, you know, parents killing their kids, you know, all this sick shit out there. But um I would
Yeah, you're right. It's not
extremely
for everyone. I mean, look
extremely
at Jay
boring. I
Cutler.
lost you,
Jay.
but I think you're going through. You back? You there?
Jay made that decision.
Can you hear me, King?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're breaking up. Okay, you're breaking up. Yeah. Yeah, Jay did make that decision. And, you know, a lot of people will say they're happy with it. And Jay does get to focus only on him. He trains, he eats all his meals, he goes,
Right.
he still lives. Nothing's really changed in his life since he's retired, you know.
Right.
He does his appearances. But, man, for me personally, that would be a very, very lonely, empty life for me personally.
I agree. I agree 100%. 100%.
Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's so Big Ramy
Big Ramy.
says he's coming back.
The rumors are he
So,
might make a comeback. So, what do you think?
man, you know, I love Big Ramy when he got on the scene. It was one of those guys that, like, this is the next big thing, and we kept waiting and waiting and waiting. Finally, he won the Olympia, and then, you know, started having some issues with his body, won another one, and then And then he had that finish. A lot of people was like, well, I mean, we were covering you at the time, King, right? We were doing the play-by-play. And I was a little bit shocked. And we were like, is it from not showing up at the guest posing for the
Right.
Mannings? Is it, did he deserve fifth? We weren't there. I was a little bit shocked. Were you? I think you were too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was shocking because it looked like the IFBB was making a statement saying, "Okay, we want to go a different direction."
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to a lot of us. We want to go into a different direction. And then suddenly Nick Walker shows up.
Yeah.
Nick
Yeah.
Walker shows up, and then we're like, okay, what about Nick?
Hold on, King.
He's a fucking mutant. And then suddenly you have to work with, you'll never see the super freak. Can you hear me?
You broke up for a little bit. Start with Nick again. Can you hear me, King?
I can hear you. I can hear you fine.
Okay. The last thing I heard was about Nick.
Yeah, I mean, because Nick shows up, then you got to deal with that. And the IFBB had to deal with a super freak who doesn't have good shape, who doesn't have a beautiful body, but he's just a mutant.
Yeah.
And then Hottie comes along with the conditioning. So you got to deal with what you got.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to see him back just because he's Big Ramy. He brings a lot of fans. People love him. Even if he comes back and is not the same. I mean, I don't think those lats are going to come dropping back down. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the legs are still going to be the same. The same issues are going to be there. But would it be good for him to come back? Yeah, I think it would bring people that loves Big Ramy and that competition just to see him up there. And I think he's like 39, 40. Didn't he just divorce both of his wives or something like that?
I don't know.
I heard he was divorcing both his wives. And
that's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I mean, like one wife isn't enough. You need two. Shit.
Yeah. To answer your question, man. Yeah, I think I would like to see him come back. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
I would like to see him next to Rubio. See who's got bigger legs. Yeah. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. So yeah, it would be good. I mean, Ramy, if you're listening out there, man, looking forward to it. It would be fun, and I'm sure Dan Solomon and Jake are fucking salivating at the mouth because that's just going to sell tickets for them.
Yeah. When he was on top and people was picking him apart for his legs and his back and all that. And then it's funny how bodybuilding works. And then he's gone and everybody's missing him now. They want him to come back. Kind of like Kai. They want him to come back. They want him to come back. The Kai thing already passed a long time ago. What do you think with the Kai thing? Do you think that was a big mistake, King, for him? I know he had all the issues and all that and the pride and with all that. Do you think that was a huge mistake to not come back, and did that mess up his legacy?
Yes, and I think one of the biggest mistakes that he made was having all those ties with India. I know it's a money thing. I know he was trying to put money, and I'm sure the promoters in India were giving him a good amount of fucking funds and cash and all that shit. But as far as his legacy goes, yeah, he could have. Like, I've asked this question before. 100% Hottie Chupon versus 100% Kai Green, who wins? 99.9% of the people always say Kai.
Yeah.
Everyone. I still say Kai. Absolutely, Kai Green. He would eat him up. He would eat Hottie up into pieces, especially in the back shots. It would kill him. And then Hottie's front shots that were so, wow, this and that. No, with the cross striations all over fucking Kai. No, he would take the front shots too. So listen. I think, to answer your question, yes, I think it was a mistake. I like Kai too.
Yeah, I think it was too. It's not always about the money, man. You could hear it when Kai talks now too. He never let that go. He still thinks he should beat a Phil Heath at least in 1 year. It sounds like Phil Heath is good. He won, obviously. He's good, but Kai Green still has that, like, I should have done that, and he could have. I mean, I don't know the exact details. We've all heard different things of exactly why he did it. come back. He didn't whatever he didn't feel appreciated, or the money factor, or what a bunch of different things. The fact that he started pursuing some movie stuff, he got a few roles and all that. Great for him, but still, if you're a bodybuilder at heart, that Olympia stage is still you never got that, and that's
Right.
what he always wanted is since he started bodybuilding, and I still think that affects him a huge way today negatively, like for his mental health. Like he
Absolutely.
never got that. He never got that Olympia, and he wasted those years. Just keep little teas every year, little teas, and then your years are up, and you're too old to come back.
Right. Yeah. No, without a question. Without a question. And once you get past a certain age, once your body gets to the next phase, I'm
Yeah,
sorry to put it out there to all you older cats out there. It's not going to come back.
no,
It's not going to come
unfortunately
back,
not.
and you have to make certain decisions. Yeah, and you have to make certain choices and certain decisions to save your own health. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. You will never see me do a barbell row, dumbbell row. You won't see me bent over rowing anything heavy ever again. You know
No.
why? I'm not going to fuck myself up. It's not going to happen. All I do on my back days is machines, machines, machines. That's it. I've seen too many people get fucked up. Too many people get destroyed. And it's over and over again. I mean, right now, we are all, in pain. Ronnie's like he's the guy that the whole world knows Ronnie. Anywhere you go, you say Ronnie Coleman. Now people are like, oh yeah, that buddy guy. I'm like, yeah, Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
He's in bad shape.
Yeah.
Real bad shape right now, and you gotta, if you talk to Ronnie, he's always smiling, and even in a wheelchair and all that stuff. But that's gotta somewhere. It's killing him. He paid the ultimate price, not the
Hmm.
ultimate price, but he paid a motherfucking price.
Yeah, and he says it was worth it, and I just don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Take away half those Olympias, it's not
Well,
worth it.
you know more
Okay.
about this than I do. You have more inside information about the situation with Ronnie than I do, so you probably
Yeah,
can speak about it a little bit more.
yeah, yeah. I mean, last I heard, we talked a little bit about on RX. He was put induced in coma because he was doing really bad. The stem cell stuff, like we don't know. Maybe he'll say it came. Maybe he thinks he got it from stem cell or whatever. But last I heard, we see the updates on the page, the Ronnie Coleman page. The last one was,
Right.
he's. I believe things are still serious. The same thing, but he's awake now and he's able to, communicate and all that. But I mean, um, who knows how he got this infection? But this is, yeah, the last one was, three days ago. I mean, at this time, Ronnie's overall condition remains serious but stable with continued signs of gradual recovery. His medical team is actively working to identify the source of the infection, which can take several days to confirm through testing. During evaluations, doctor identified an underlying health matter that will require a surgical procedure. This procedure is expected to take place in these coming days, and the medical team is confident in their approach as Ronnie's broader care plan. It disappeared for a second. We remain hopeful and encouraged by Ronnie's resilience, and we're deeply grateful. Blah blah blah. So, yeah, I mean, he's not out of the woods yet. I mean, he's still not okay. It sounds like it's pretty bad, and that was 3 days ago. So this is scary stuff. Blood infections are no joke.
Yeah, man.
So,
Yeah, it's all prayers out to Ronnie. Wish him the best. Wish him the
absolutely.
best. One more thing we could talk about. One more thing we could talk about. I know it's been a slow week, but
Yeah.
Horse MD made
Yep.
a change, a huge change. He went from the Open to Classic, and he actually won and qualified for the Olympia. But it
Yeah.
was not a unanimous a victory because a lot of the fans were booing at the end. They thought that the second place guy should have beat him. What do you think of the 60-pound loss into
Oh,
the? What do you think?
you know, I know he was saying like, oh, health reasons and it's healthier. I mean, who knows? Only he knows how his health is, but I don't see that physique as a classic physique body. And competing in that division, he's only going to be able to go so far. But a lot of things goes into it. I'm sure he doesn't have to eat as much. I mean, some people can eat a lot, some people can't. I never could eat that much. I know you could eat a lot. Maybe he didn't like eating a lot. Maybe he didn't like pushing it that hard. He's like, okay, we'll just pull back to classic physique. I'm always going to be a bodybuilder fan. I love seeing the bodybuilders. Classic physique, yeah, it's great. There's pretty physiques, but it's not bodybuilding. There's
Right.
not that same excitement to watch these guys like bodybuilding. Um, I don't know. I mean, I didn't like the way he looked. I mean, you only could get certain body parts when you have to make that weight cut like that. You only get your body parts are going to suffer, like the chest and certain, you know, body parts of his are going to suffer. He's got the crazy legs, but losing all that weight, how are you going to improve when you have that weight cap? I mean, I just don't get it. I don't. Was it the best decision? What are you thinking? What's your
I
thoughts on it?
I think I agree with what you said. I think his chest disappeared, and when he turns around to the back, he looks like a NPC national guy trying to, he doesn't look like a professional to me.
Yeah.
He will get eaten up. I don't know if he can make the top 10. That's going to be hard for him to
Dude,
make the top 10 at the Olympia because those guys they're no joke. Wesley
no.
could eat him up. I
Those
mean,
classic guys are big, man. They look
yeah.
good.
And
They're big.
Breon went back to classic too. He made the announcement. He's going back to classic. I mean, on a back double bicep shot, it will be literally like a thoroughbred against a donkey. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to be realistic too here. I like Horse. He's another one of those Nathan guys. I like him. I like the name. I've always said good things about Horse,
Yeah.
but his back, man, he's just got to be
Mhm.
realistic. Now, if I also heard that he has bodybuilding is not everything. Like he's got different businesses.
Yeah.
He's a businessman and stuff. That's what I like. I give him top notch salute for that. That now, if he's doing this because really about health reasons and all that stuff, and he's just doing it because for the love of the sport, God bless him. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. But be realistic. If he's got Mr. Olympia dreams, sorry, man. I don't want to be
Yeah.
your fucking dream killer, but it's just not going to happen.
Like you said, he has those businesses he has. He's successful, and if he's doing this just for fun and he's happy with it, great, good for him. And if he knows, like, hey, I'm never gonna be a Mr. Olympia classic physique, which I'm sure he knows that. I don't think in his mind he thinks he can go win the classic Mr. Olympia. I don't think he thinks that. Maybe some a pro show or here or there, but even that, I mean, his legs are just too overpowering, and like you said, with the weight cut, the back disappeared, chest disappeared, and it's
Right.
just he needed to put tissue on there anyway. So regressing is not the best idea. But hey, if he's staying healthier and he's got his businesses and he's happy, good for him. So, uh,
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
are Iranian Americans at risk of getting arrested for espionage when they visit Iran? I've seen Iranian Americans arrested in the past by the government. I wouldn't go to Iran myself. No.
Yeah. No,
King?
not now. Now's not the best
No.
time. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely not.
No. I've been there and it's a beautiful place, the beautiful country. It's not what people think. The media has portrayed Iran, to be a third world country and all that. No, I saw more Porsches and Mercedes Benzes. I was also hanging around with the one percenters. So
Yeah.
I love that place. It's always my blood is Iranian. I'll always be a Iranian first, but now's not a good time.
Yeah. My mom was American. She passed away, but my dad was Iranian. he never felt safe enough to take my mom there or us there. So I never got to see Iran, unfortunately. But I don't think I ever will, probably. But and he needs to go back to settle some property stuff about an old house and all that. I don't think that's ever going to happen either. But
Yeah, yeah.
this guy
It's
says,
it's a rough time.
yeah, Ron Harris had Nathan on yesterday, guys. I didn't see that guy. We stay busy. We don't have time to watch all these other podcasts. I like Ron Harris, but um, we can't watch all these podcasts. We might catch a glimpse here and there, but there's too many out there. He just goes on every podcast saying the same thing, though. I mean, what else? What other stuff he's going to say? If he came on ours, I would have pressed him and said, "Listen, dude, you you didn't have that physique. These other guys, they're just letting him talk, and some of them are agreeing with him, which they're just lying to him." But if he came on ours, I'd be like, Nathan, come on, dude. Let's be real. You really think you should have beat Beirut? Come on. So, you said Boston was different in real life compared to Alon. On what was he like? Boston, yeah, I was good friends with Boston. Boston liked to troll people, but it wasn't in a malicious way at all. That was just like having fun to him. He didn't have one malicious bone in his body. Um, Boston was just a dude, a regular dude. He liked to chill. He loved steroids. He
Yeah,
didn't care
that's
about
one
his
thing he
health.
loved.
I pleaded with him many times. I was friends with him for over 10 years. He asked me to help him prep for a show back in 2012. I said, Boston, I can't tell you to take. I'm not okay with what you're doing already, so that wouldn't work. We became friends. We did a podcast together for a while with Leo Longevity and all that. It was a decent podcast for a while. And Boston was funny. He called it. He called out people. He didn't care to offend people. He ruffled a lot of people's feathers, and I love Boston. But when it comes down to, he had a son, and I think it was very irresponsible of him and selfish to do what he did to his body and continue to do that, having a son and knowing he was going to die. Boston, we would talk. Like I was always a night owl. I would talk to Boston, and he would kind of laugh when you would talk about death. He didn't take it serious. Some guys, my friend Chris Jalali, he was a Persian bodybuilder, great cover model and all that. He was like that too. He didn't take death seriously. He died of oxy overdose. Certain people just don't value life, and it's not about you always. It's who you leave behind. He's got a poor son that doesn't have a father anymore. And
Right.
some people just don't think that way. And I think that's selfish. But I love Boston. I miss him. And it's unfortunate because he could have easily got his heart fixed if he did all the testing earlier and still been living life. But I don't think he wasn't happy living life, not bodybuilding. He just wasn't, or whatever I would even call it bodybuilding because he wasn't even competing anymore. Just taking a ton of gear and working out. So
yeah.
don't be surprised if Steve is driving around with Nathan in the trunk of his car.
Steve's not like that. Steve's incognito.
Yeah, he's calmed down over the years too.
A lot.
I agree. I agree. King, drugs don't make anyone a champion. It's all about the mindset. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, you got to work hard. And genetics. Genetics first.
Absolutely. Rami comes across being a really nice guy, not your usual big mouth bodybuilder. I mean, look at David Henry from a top 212 ER to struggling to get in the top 10 of Olympia. Yeah, father time. Father time gets everybody. And you could go being the best in the world. And I think bodybuilders need to know their time to exit the sport or the industry when that father time and injuries starts catching up. Sometimes it's earlier than others, and it just sucks. I mean, we're used to being a certain size and people living a certain way, and when that goes away, it's difficult for a lot of bodybuilders. And if you don't have something else in life, like me, like King and I were talking about earlier, kids, which means a hell of a lot more important to me than bodybuilding ever did.
Yep.
When I had my daughter, I didn't really care about bodybuilding much anymore. I'm like, this is a whole new chapter in my life that
Yeah.
I feel a different way about. Like, I don't even have that same feeling about bodybuilding anymore. So a lot of these guys, they just go too long, and I understand it's hard to give up. And even Lee and I were talking today. Lee wants to compete at Masters Nationals, but he's got the pec thing he was talking about last time he was on the
Yeah.
show that bothers him, and injuries happen, and it's frustrating because mentally we could all still probably do it, but our bodies just you know won't
Yeah,
react.
and another thing is that it happens quick. You know, a good example of that, and may he rest in peace, was Gustavo Badell.
Yeah.
Gustavo beat Ronnie in the challenge round that one year. You know, he was winning shows, and Gustavo was top 5. And within 3-4 years, he was torn. I mean, he was just a different person. He didn't look the same. His body was all fucked up. His legs shrunk. Stomach started. It happens. Father time. It happens. And when you get to that point, you can't sit there to yourself and say, hey, I'm going to do the same exact cycle I did for the Olympia
Mm.
5 years ago. That's an instant. That's playing Russian roulette right there.
And there's a lot. I've seen a lot of King lately. I've seen a lot of older bodybuilders. They've got pretty decent followings. I will say they're 40 plus. They're giving advice on drugs and GH and saying people should take at least 10 IUs a day and this is okay. Listen, those guys, they didn't start competing when they were a teenager. They literally they got into bodybuilding in their like late 30s. It's very
Yeah.
different if you started competing when you were young versus you just pick it up as a hobby later on in life, and they're spewing all this BS advice out there. I'm not going to name the guy's name, but he has a pretty decent following on a IG channel that I see. He gives a lot of information out. I think he was like a computer nerd before or something like that, but he says all this stuff and he has no clue what he's talking about. Dude, you're talking to what your life was. You lived a normal life till you were like 30, late 30s, and then you decided to start competing, got your pro card at Masters Nationals. You never could compete at a pro level. Your body didn't look good, very good, but you got your pro card. And it is what it is. And a lot of people, they got to understand, you can't take these certain drugs. It will kill you at a certain
Yes.
age. Will
Yep.
kill you. Dave says, "Holy shit! Did you guys see the pictures of the latest guy to get his pro card? Must have been only one in his class. We can't keep up with the pro cards, guys. There's too many. But hey, it's just like I was talking to my buddy the other day. He deals with a lot of NFL guys, and people are like that in NFL too. They're like, this guy should have been NFL. He sucks, and this guy should have. It's kind of like bodybuilding has got more well known. It's got a lot bigger. More people are into it, fitness or whatever you want to call it, and the pro cards are a lot easier to achieve. I don't agree with the whole, pro card for every single class, and I don't like someone's called Mister. I don't know how you feel about it, King, but there's one Mister Olympia.
Yeah.
You know,
Without a
not
doubt.
a big,
Without a
not a
question.
bikini, classic physique, men's physique. There's one Mr. Olympia to me. There always will be every year. One Mr. Olympia.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I agree with that 100%. 100%.
Agree. I love competing and love living this life, training hard and challenging myself through each prep and even during the off season. But my 6 children mean the world to me. Wow, 6. Lexi, my friend, that's my client, Lexi. Yeah. Uh, she just had hip surgery. She's recovering. She's doing extremely well. I'm happy for her because she was in really bad pain for a long time, and she had the surgery. And some people have surgery and immediately they're like, man, the pain's gone that I've been dealing with for years, and they really didn't know how bad it was. So I'm glad you got that, Lexi, and we'll get back to competing next season. What else, King? You there, brother? Hold on. King, can you hear me? He'll jump back on. He's driving, so that road loses connection sometimes.
I'm back.
All
I'm
right,
back. I'm back. I'm back.
lost you for a second.
Yeah. Yes, I'm on the Palisades Parkway. It's absolute. It's brutal. Bad
How long's
reception.
that drive? Was it 3 hours? Four?
From Annapolis, Maryland to Manhattan, it's about 4 hours.
Okay. But you drive that weekly, right?
Got it for my son, man. It's going to be
Yeah.
weekly
Weekly.
again when high school starts for high school football.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a drive, man.
I don't mind.
Yeah. You go 4 hours straight, or you pull over and piss and stretch and all that.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I got my meals here in the car. I'm good. I can hold it. I'm one of those guys that I honestly, I have to be honest. It's another one of those King Kamali things. I shouldn't be saying it, but I'll say it anyway. I can't take a dump on an airplane. I can't do it.
No.
I cannot. There's nothing in my being that can do it. So I hold it in. The worst is, like, I've learned, like, if you are awake, you're fucked. So what I do is I'll take something when I
Yeah.
get on a plane. Let's say if I'm going to Dubai, and I'll sleep for 11 hours fucking straight.
Mm.
I have no problem going to sleep. I'll just tell the fucking stewardess, don't fucking wake me up for food. I don't care. Just let me sleep through this. Boom, I'm
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. When I went to Turkey to do the hair transplant, we were in business class, so it was nice. And that's a 12 whatever flight. I had to take a shit, so I mean the bathrooms are a little bigger on there, but it's still extremely uncomfortable. And when we just went to Alabama, on that trip, you know, they flew us first class, but you're on the small American Eagle plane, so first class doesn't mean anything. You got like 6 first class seats, and it goes straight into the coach. There's one bathroom at the very back of the plane, one bathroom. So if you gotta piss or do whatever, you gotta wait. The flight was only under 2 hours, but you gotta wait till. I mean, I had to piss so bad. I was back there knocking on the door. This guy was in there taking a shit. I was standing up for 15 minutes. I was about to piss myself. But these old American Eagle planes. I don't know if you've been on one lately, but I'm like, gosh, they got to replace these. So
Yeah, it's nightmares. Those are fucking nightmares. Yeah, that, like, if you
King.
ask me what one of my fucking nightmares on this earth is, when I used to own a part of the CBD company, King
Uh-huh.
CBD, we used to go to these competitions, the mud runners, and all these, like, those types of contests where people go out and do all these outdoor activities and stuff. Those porta potties,
Oh,
oh my! I'm telling you, man, I'd rather fucking chew on razor blades than to use one of those things. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever experienced in my life. Never again. Porta
bro.
potties,
You want,
never again.
flies are everywhere, just shit and piss all
Oh
down in that
God,
nasty
don't even
thing.
say it.
Ugh.
Don't even say it. Don't even say it, man. That's fucking
King,
gross.
where the Epstein files?
Epstein files. Hey, everybody knows my boy killed him. If you guys don't know the story, okay, I can say it because it's fun on Joe Rogan's has said it 50 times now already. I can say it.
Yeah.
The guy who they put in the cell with him was my friend. The guy who committed quadruple murder. He was Nick
Oh wow.
Tartaglione. He was the guy who I used to fucking see him at the gym. He was the nicest fucking guy in the world. I had no problems with him. I still to this day believe it was Nick that killed him. And then now they're saying this and that. It's none of my problems, to be honest with you. And and if we want to take it a step further, I could care less who was on the Epstein files, because that doesn't mean that they were all fucking pedophiles. That doesn't
Right,
mean
right,
that they
right,
were all fucking little kids and stuff. Yeah, any
right.
pedophile should be fucking burned at the stake.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I seriously doubt, as moronic and childish and whatever you want to call Trump is, I don't think he's that dumb to fuck a fucking little girl. No, I don't think so.
No, no. They
He
let
might
the
have been
video
on that
out.
plane. He might have been on that plane. He might have gone to the island and partied a little bit, but I don't think he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
banging minors. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. He's smarter than that. But guys, your opinion on Mario Sapunatsky's physique, the 5-man strongman winner? I don't know. I haven't kept up with his physique in years. I don't really. King?
didn't he go into the MMA for a little while?
I think he did a couple fights or something. I don't really know
He's
what's the
just a
latest on him.
he's a big fucking mutant. That's what I
Yeah,
read. Just a big ass fucking mutant.
yeah. I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
So, what's coming up? And what shows are coming up? Any shows?
Honestly, I couldn't even fucking tell you right now, man. I know everybody's 13 weeks out. That I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it every day on my fucking TikTok and Instagram, fucking stories and stuff. So, 13
Yeah.
weeks out, people starting to dial it in. I'm sure we're gonna start seeing some pictures and countdown pictures of this and that. Should be interesting. And then I think the subtitle of this year is going to be: Can Hadi make it? Can Behruz make it? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, those little stories like that. Is Ramy going to do it? We'll see. Should be interesting.
Is Samson gonna win again and
Is
all that
Sanson going to
stuff.
come in condition? You know, he's big.
Big, real big.
Pictures. Yeah, 320 pounds. Great. He's huge.
But
Is he
it's
going to bring
still
the
not
condition?
that. It's still people like comparing Ronnie Coleman. It's not Ronnie
Uh,
Coleman. When Ronnie
no.
Coleman stripped that shirt off, that was from another planet. When
Yeah.
Samson does that, you're like, man, that's a huge, massive black bodybuilder. But it's not a Ronnie Coleman physique. Ronnie Coleman was just
No.
just everything, which is the condition, the everything, those huge, massive pecs that just hung, those lats that just hung down. It's just you can't compare those two.
God, I mean, I have the privilege and honor to sit there and say that I was on stage with him in 2001 at the Arnold Classic. I actually
Uh-huh.
tried to push him out of the way, and he pushed me back. We had a nice battle. I know, I was standing right next to him, on stage and on backstage. So I know what that mutation looked like. And everybody, there's a, strong consensus that 2001 Ronnie Coleman was the best Ronnie Coleman ever. I still say 2003, but there's an argument for 2001 too. So there is no comparison. Ronnie was from another planet.
I grew up here with Ronnie, and then we even trained together for 3 months at 1 a.m. It was a group of us, me, Ronnie, my friend John, and my client that was under Ronnie's contract at the time, Corey. We trained it about. I only lasted 3 months because then I moved out to Dallas during that time. But Ronnie, that was back in 2000 and I believe 14, 15. Ronnie was still really big, but he was retired, and he didn't. His body was like slowly breaking down. Like I'd ask him, like he hurt a little bit. But then when one thing started going, everything started going. All those. That's how the disc work in the spine. Like I have back issues now. I was just talking to one of my best friends. He had a consult this morning with a back surgeon. They not perfected, but they came pretty close to the shoulders and knees and other stuff. But the spine, they haven't. They're very far away from getting that back surgery down. You can have it, and a lot of times you're a lot worse. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to hold off as long as possible, even though I have a awful chronic pain in my lower back, and it prevents me from doing a lot of stuff, even training movements like you talked about earlier, rows and all that kind of stuff. I could do just bend down wrong, and my back's done for a couple of days. It sucks.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But yeah, I think we covered everything, and things are slow right now, but Olympia's coming up. People will, what other drama's going on?
Nothing. Well,
I
I'm
think
sure something will happen.
Something always happens, but cool. How much longer you got for your drive, Keen?
I got another 2 hours, man, but I got 50 phone calls to make. I got 2 people competing this weekend. So I got somebody competing next week at the Masters Nationals. As always, contact us, either Armon or myself, if you want real coaches who are going to get you into the best shape of our lives. I only have 3 spots. 3 guys just finished a few weeks ago, so I got 3 spots open for the rest of the summer. Other than that, God bless everybody.
Yes, sir. Myself, lifestyle. I take as many lifestyle clients that I can take many of those on, but competitive clients, about 5. I don't take on too many competitive clients anymore. I mean, I've got competitive clients lately, and then they don't understand what it takes. They start and they say, they're penny pinching already. I'm saying, listen, dude, if you're having trouble hiring me, you're not going to be able to afford the show, the tanning, the classes you have to enter, your NPC card, the minimal drugs you even have to take to compete, the food. They don't understand. I always tell them, save up for something,
Yeah.
or a lot of people. I asked one of my clients the other day, I said, man, I know you love bodybuilding. You've got a really good physique and you can go far in this, but what's holding you back from getting quality gear? We talked about growth hormone before. These kits that people are getting for like $80 or $100. It's not real growth hormone. And I'm
Right.
like, what's holding you back from getting the real stuff and all that? I said, well, I got a lot of debt. And I understand that totally. He's still young enough to, I think he's like 29 or 30. So, all you can do is, it's expensive, and I understand that. And I was able to hook clients up with shoots. They could make $1,000 here, 1,000 there, and that doesn't exist anymore. I don't know anybody I can send people to that they can make money doing legit stuff. You can.
Nope.
It's not.
Nope.
It doesn't. It's not around anymore. Unfortunately,
nope, it's not.
All right, brother.
It is
Well, have a
unfortunate,
safe
but it's
drive.
not.
Yeah, have a safe
Take care, brother,
drive,
man.
and
Be good. See everybody next week.
peace.
Take care, man. Peace.
Later. Have a good day.